There are some more changes coming to Path of Titans via dinosaurs and other game changes, but the main bulk here are of course with the dinosaurs. Today I'm talking to you about all of that and showcasing all the changes and buffs and debuffs that are coming to the game. So without further ado, if you are new, feel free to subscribe, but other than that, let's dive right into it. So starting off with the biggest ones, the dinosaur changes. A handful of dinosaurs have got some serious changes. These include Anodontosaurus, Barsboldia, Ceratosaurus, Metriacanthosaurus, Amargasaurus, Deinonychus, Stegosaurus, Daspletosaurus, and finally Albertaceratops. Now, let's get into Anodontosaurus first. This is going to be quite a controversial one, especially with the reaction of its buffs from my last video. So, they've increased its health slightly, and they've increased the turn in place speed by about 20%, which I think is quite interesting. Anodontosaurus is a very good dinosaur in my opinion. It might not be in other people's opinions, so people may think it's not the best and other people may think it's really OP. I'm kind of in that middle ground where I think it's actually a fairly good and balanced dinosaur. It's got a very big debuff, but it's also good at what it needs to do. Now, where I'm seeing the problem here is that its turn in place speed by about 20%, that increase is going to be making it a lot harder to get while it's in hunker down mode or stood still in one place. And more health means that it will be even harder to get while it's in hunker down mode, especially when you include all the passive abilities that increase its armor, increase its combat weight and all that jazz, and make it a lot stronger of a creature. But at the end of the day, I want to know what you guys think about this one. Do you think Anodontosaurus is getting a bit too much love, or do you think it's getting the right amount of love? With Barsboldia, its bite attack has been disabled. There's probably a good chance that this probably might not exist anymore in the future. However, of course, we move on to the next one. Barsboldia's headbutt attack now does a knockback and reduced damage as well, which is interesting. It could indicate that maybe this dinosaur could be doing more in terms of knockback than it is in terms of raw damage, which will be an interesting switch up because before, this dinosaur was probably one of the highest damage dealers in terms of coefficient on the herbivore roster, especially since it was quite an apex herbivore at that. But what do you guys think? The mark cost for Ceratosaurus's leap ability is now 700 marks, and the mark cost for Metriacanthosaurus's putrid scales is in line with its light scales, with them both being 1100 mark. Amargasaurus now, moving on to that, it's increased bone break heal and increased its health as well. So Amargasaurus is finally getting some nice love here, more health and quicker bone break heal. So yeah, this is going to be something nice for this dinosaur. For Deinonychus, they've reduced the stamina cost of the tail fan ability, and they've reduced the stamina drain when running by 25%, which is very, very impressive because considering Deinonychus is a sprinter, it's something that will need to use its stamina, and so of course reducing the stamina drain by 25% is pretty much like increasing it by 25%. You're getting 25% extra more stamina in terms of it draining slower, which is very, very handy. A quarter of a reduction on its drain or a quarter of an increase on its drain, it basically means it's going to be running for longer. With Stegosaurus, they've increased the stamina recovery slightly, and for Daspletosaurus, they've increased its bite attack damage. This is to get it in line with the fact that Daspletosaurus's bite attacks are actually quite slow at the moment. For Albertaceratops, there is 3 changes here. They've slightly increased charge cooldown, slightly decreased headbutt damage, and head slam now uses slightly more stamina than it used to. Now, I find it interesting that they have slightly reduced the headbutt damage, but when they reduced the headbutt damage for Barsboldia, they added a knockback. But this time, they have not added a knockback. So maybe Albertaceratops with its headbutt could be getting a knockback, but maybe it's a bleed damage. I don't actually know too much there. But yeah, it seems more balanced stuff are coming to dinosaurs. And another big thing is the combat timer has apparently also gone back down to 30 seconds, because previously, a couple updates ago, it was moved to a minute, and now it's back down again. I wonder why they're changing it so much. I'm very intrigued to actually know why that's the case. But yeah, those are the dinosaur stats. We're now going to go into some general game changes, and then we're going to showcase off the Burnt Forest and its revamp in a cinematic showcase. So let's get right into it. Some other game related changes have made their way to the public test branch as well, including these stuff. Now these are just mainly device related, so let's just get right into them really quickly. So prevent tapping menu buttons while mobile touch input is active, hopefully to prevent lock or crashes. Show main menu will now always close all windows before displaying the main menu. Fix for group quest rewards getting cleaned up for the leader if a group of 2 is disbanded. Changed implementation for ability stack limit. Decreased stampede buff duration, which is a sad one there for all you guys who like the stampede buff. Refresh environmental effects for combat AI repossession as well. Reduced all fish flee speeds by about 25% to take into account reduced swim speeds of aquatic playables from an earlier patch. Now it also looks like there are some improvements going on with Gondwa as well. The next biome that seems to be getting improvements now is going to be Hoodoo Hills, but it looks like from what the developers mentioned so far, the changes that have been made are quite literally just small tweaks to rock mesh at the moment. We'll see if we can get some of that to show off in the little cinematic video, but the main focus is with the Burnt Forest refresh. It looks a lot better now. The terrain is a lot more varied with hills, caves to hide in, a lot more varied terrain here for you to explore. They've made it a lot rougher instead of flatter, which is nicer to see, and it makes me wonder if they're going to be changing that volcano soon, because that still looks like a sore thumb sticking out. You can still make a volcano that isn't just black rock. But anyways, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below, but let's go ahead and get into the showcase of the Burnt Forest. Now, of course, do bear in mind these stat changes are on the public test branch and they're not coming to the live game for probably quite some time. Obviously, as things stand, I'll be making sure you're kept up to date with everything Path of Titans related, whether that's a new update coming to the live branch or it's smaller updates on the public test branch like we're seeing at the moment. Of course, if you guys are new, feel free to subscribe and I should hopefully see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.